Yep, it does.
It's July 8th, right? All right, welcome to our July board meeting for the Youth Baseball Association of Royal Palm Beach. We're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with our roll call here. Vice President? Here. Secretary?
Here.
Treasurer, he is absent. Baseball Commissioner? Here. Softball Commissioner?
Here.
Member at Large Joey? Member at Large John? And I believe we're just missing Nico, right? Yes, okay, so missing a couple today. So we'll start with our report outs. Anyone want to volunteer to go first? I'll go last with Ed's report out.
Baseball, you want to go first, just because it's on my list?
Sure. Baseball had a great all-star season. I know that our 8U B team did pretty well in a couple tournaments. Our A team, our 6U A team did fairly well. I know a couple of other teams. I didn't get too much to see where they all placed and whatnot, but I know we had a good baseball all-star season, a lot better than a year ago, so keep up the good work. And I'm also looking forward right now to get coaches for our upcoming fall season. I started putting out messages to get coaches rounded up for the upcoming fall season, but other than that, I have nothing else to really report. Congratulations to all the teams that did win, and keep at it. Keep working hard.
We'll flip to you, sir.
All right. In softball, our 8U team won the state tournament. Great job, coaches. 2 of the coaches are here. And 10U did well. 14U did well. They were putting harder brackets. Hurt a little bit, but the girls did very well. We're proud of all of them. And what we're looking to do coming up this year is do some tournament teams that'll compete with the all-star teams and in tournaments on their own too, to try and make the program a little better. And we're hoping to get some people from Wellington in. People were talking to them the other day. And I think we're going to get Roman there because they don't have a fall program. And the big thing will be try to keep them for the spring and the future. That's it.
Absolutely. No, awesome job with softball. I know seems like you guys always are the last every year at the end of June, but pretty good finish to the year, right? Pretty good finish. All 3 programs, I think, I guess, would say in the top 8. Is that a fair statement? That's pretty cool, right? For all of our age groups that went up there. All right, Mr. Vice President.
I don't have too much. Yeah, we just finished our season last week because of rainouts, but baseball went really well. Proud of the softball. That was awesome. I watched it. Some of the teams. I know at baseball we're looking to several age groups are looking to start tournament teams as well as what I think I'm hearing, and trying to keep kids and throughout this year not keep losing them to other leagues. So that's good news to hear. But other than that, I don't have anything new.
Miss Jessica.
Nothing too much to report as well. Just trying to keep up with responding to Facebook messages and stuff. I know we've been having a few glitches with our website. The glitches are mainly through the website itself, but if you go through Sports Engine and register, it works through Sports Engine and just not if you type it in. But Gary's been working very hard dealing with them, trying to get it back up, which he did. we changed, it's not baseballrpb.com anymore. It's baseballrpb.org now. So, yeah. We literally just fixed, like, Gary just did that literally like yesterday. So,
Yeah, Ron. Ron, I'll send you our Sports Engine link, and if you guys could put that on the homepage, that would be probably easier anyways. Because when they click on the .com or .org, it's going to redirect them. But for some reason, there's a disconnect there. So we got it back up and running. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, it's not.
yeah, like when you type in like baseball Royal Palm, like the village page pops up, like our page itself doesn't pop up. But I mean, as far as like technical issues, like Gary's trying to work with it, but it was our website and it's our email that's attached to it. So if anybody has sent an email and I haven't responded to it, it's just because it's all of the translation, because our email is hooked to our website. So hopefully we have it figured out in the next few days and the email pops back up. Exactly. So, yeah, but because I tried to send an email to it and it shoots it back to me. So at least, exactly. So at least they know that it didn't get delivered and they didn't think we're not just like responding. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, it was super fun. The website's not working. It says we sent it to your email, which is also not working. So it took me like a week to get it up.
But I'm gonna try to see if Royal Palm has any like activities going on, like any like food truck events or stuff like that, because maybe we can set up a table for baseball again. Because when we did the green market for spring, I got like 20 signups that day. So I'm gonna try to do something along the lines of that. Other than that, that's it.
All right. Mr. John? All good? Mr. Joey? Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'll take over for Mr. Ed. I pulled numbers right before I got here. Softball, we have 54 registrations. Baseball, we have 98. It's pretty consistent with what we normally have. It's a little less than half of what we normally get. We normally get around 300 to 350, just depends. So good start, actually. Normally we get everybody that last push. So I fully expect, late July, early August, we'll start hitting it hard on the website and emails, and without fail, we'll get another 100 to 200. So I expect that to go up. Nothing too concerning there. I didn't run all the financial statements. We got about $60,000 in the bank account. About 40 of that is from the new registrations. So we ended the season with 20K. So we have a little bit of a buffer there, which is awesome, considering we have a couple things to pay for, right? We have these level 2 background checks that we absorbed this past year. We'll have to absorb it again for anyone new. The good news is it's good for 5 years, right? So if you guys did it or any of the coaches did it, there's a renewal fee, and I'm sure it's, $5, $10, $15 or something. But it's a lot cheaper than the initial fee. So that's been done. We had about 120 go through it, which is awesome. Like I said, we'll always have new people, but those who stick with the league for a while, that'll be good. We're trying to get a waiver through Babe Ruth because Babe Ruth's system makes you go through the level 1, which is kind of silly, but we had to do that to get approved. So we're hoping to get that waiver or get that removed from our requirements since we're doing the level 2, and we can kind of do a document that I send into them, which wouldn't cost anybody anything, which would be awesome. Softball, awesome job. I was watching both of y'all's games. Was it Saturday or Sunday when you guys hit the elimination? Exciting to see, right? We did really well. And then Amy called me out of the blue and said, "Oh, by the way, 14U's playing for the Open Championship too." And I was like, "Oh, great! I didn't even have that one." So I was trying to scroll between three games at the same time, but pretty great finish for softball. If that doesn't tell you where to play softball, I don't know what does, right? Travel tournament teams, I know we talked about that. So one of the things I wanted to clarify, there seems to be a little bit of confusion here. So we'll try to clarify that. So a tournament team are rec kids. They're signed up in rec. They play rec. They may practice on a Friday together, and then they go play tournaments, right? So they're part of the rec organization. travel teams in the fall don't necessarily have to play rec. They do in the spring. So that's kind of the differentiator, right? Now, you could technically be both, right? You could do travel and all of your kids play rec too. Does that make sense? But yeah, and we've had some conversations around what do we do to wrangle in the rest of that group, right? Part of it's insurance, right? So if they're registered in our league, they're covered under our insurance, right? So if you have 100% of your kids registered and something happens, then we're covered. If not, it would kind of fall under that travel bracket. And as you sign up for these tournaments, whether it's an NSF, USSSA, Perfect Game, there's a new softball one out there too. You can buy your own separate insurance as part of that. It's normally not very expensive. It's like $200 for the year, and definitely worth it. But yeah, that's something we'll have to wrangle as a board, is what to do. Especially, it's more fall than spring, right? The question is, what do you do in the fall? Because in spring, theoretically, they all have to play, right? And then, except for your older kids, right, that are participating in high school or middle school, and then they can even have a waiver to participate in All-Stars, right? So if you have a kid that plays in the spring and is registered, but played all of their high school games or all of their, middle school games, the percentage won't even matter. They just have to say they were on the team and they participated in that sport in their school. So that's why it's not a requirement for the older kids, because especially in the spring is baseball, softball season. But definitely a conversation I think we need to have as a board, not necessarily tonight, but in the future, as to what do we do in the fall, right? Especially those one-offs.
I think most of the teams are wanting to do it in the fall anyways.
Correct.
Not necessarily the spring, because the fall is beginner league.
Sure.
They want to stay in that competitiveness.
I did, and I'll share it with you guys again. We proposed some fall dates that we'll get out there. We'll get it finalized this week and get it out to everybody. Part of it was trying to coordinate with softball to do maybe a softball tournament towards the end of the year, so we can work backwards into our finish. So we have space available for that. And really all the other dates. One thing I did have on my list, Ron, and I know you're going to do your report out here too, but potentially do a walk with you, right? So if we have, Brandon or myself or Josh wants to kind of do a walk with the fields, we'll get some list of items that we can address beforehand. And that's a question I had for you. Actually, the two people that are waiting for me outside, Ron, that he has a school proposal to do some work, and I can talk to you as a one-off on this, but part of his school project for, I guess, whatever class he's in, is to fundraise and do this for a nonprofit, and so he wants to do it for our league, so I can kind of walk you through what he's interested in doing and how he needs to do that, if he needs to go through us or you directly. So, if there's some issues with liability, it's nothing crazy, but it's more like fixing mounds and fundraising for dugouts and some other things. So. Okay. The only other thing I just had is the website, so we'll update those links so everybody's on the same page. Yeah, it was kind of a pain in the butt. We didn't realize it was off, but the website's been paid for 10 years. The emails have been paid for 3 years, so we're in a good spot for a while. So remember that. Those of you guys have young kids will be around for a while. If the email stops working in 3 years, we'll know why. No, I'm in the process of wrangling it all back. Correct. Yeah. So we were kind of working through that, but yeah, there you go. That's why I said someone probably bought it just so they make some money off us. But we couldn't get into it was the issue, because she was emailing me for a while and said, I can't get into the email. I'd go into GoDaddy and it would say, you don't have a link, we're sending this to your email. Well, we couldn't get the email either. So I had to update it with my personal email just to get into the account, and then we can update it probably with a separate email in the future.
Yeah.
So that way if we get locked out again, it's not through the same group, which was kind of silly. But we'll get that to you, Ron, so we can update that link. That'd be super helpful, because I have heard that a couple times, and I'm sending these guys links going, mine works fine. Mine works fine, but they're going through the village or they're just typing in .com and it's not popping up. So, but again, we got that addressed. So that's all I had. Mr. Ron, anything from the village? I know we put up some nets, so thank you for that. And I know we're doing some nets at Farron. That's the rumor on the street.
Yep.
So that's awesome, because those were pretty holy. It was pretty fun to watch a ball go flying to the basketball court every once in a while, or to a couple houses in Farron. What's that? The batting cages were done. I don't know. Are we doing the overhead too?
I'm not.
Yeah. So they did. I think it was right before last meeting. Right before last meeting, they did the Willows batting cages. I know they ordered them for Farron, but Farron's been out of commission because of the parking lot up until yesterday, right?
Yesterday. Yep.
So we can use Farron now, starting yesterday. But I think that's next on their list. You know anything about the above?
So I know at Farron, we didn't expect them to open so fast. So I know they're working on getting the nets at Farron. And like I said, Farron also is available to use for softball right now. I know at Willows, field 3 and 4 are still down right now, but we'll make sure we have it up before fall evaluations. For reports, documents, for the second quarter financial data, we need those documents.
Okay.
Also the CPA review statements and the copy of the tax return.
Yes.
I will send you an email.
Yeah, we have those. We'll get them to you.
Okay.
They probably went to Jessica's email. No, we have them.
Okay.
She just asked for Q2, so I know if it's not done, it will be done soon.
Yeah.
But we have the 990. We can give you the 990, no problem.
Also minutes. Make sure you go through your documents. Make sure that we have all your the minutes from the previous months. But that's pretty much it from the village.
So just email those to him, I guess, afterwards.
Okay.
I had another question for you. I think we talked about, and this goes back a while before you, Willows Field 1 and Field 4, we're going to get LEDs at one point. Do we know if that's, I think it was this year, 26, if I remember right.
We're in 25.
Well, I mean, going into this coming,
Yeah.
year, but yeah, if we can get some time frame around that, obviously, so we can plan around it,
Okay. But that's all we
It
have.
was either 25 or 26, but those were the only two. Because 8, I think, still has traditional lights. 5 still has the traditional lights.
Okay.
Yeah, but was it 2 and 3 have LEDs? I'm pretty sure, because they did those a while back.
When are the Nets batting cages going to be done at Farron?
So I know they already ordered the batter nets, so it's just a matter of time when they get here and put them up.
All right. How about the backstops? There was talk of putting something over that because the net covering the stands are all holy. Wasn't that part of it too?
That I don't know. I know the batting cages were definitely part of
Yeah.
it.
But I will bring it up tomorrow.
Lots of zip ties. All right, scroll down on your list there. Perfect. I don't believe we have any old business,
Did
but
you guys get all the minutes
Mhm.
from like the past 3 meetings that I sent out a while back? Okay, I sent them to you, and then Ron, and then, no,
I have all the historical ones if you ever want them from prior to us. Lexi sent them to an email right last time.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, from my email.
All right, so we'll make a motion to vote in the reports.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I don't think we tabled any old business, so nothing really to go over there. I know, again, there were some discussions around travel and some other items. Any new business? I think I just hit this white thing. I hope I didn't send the cops over here. Yes, sir.
New business, I've been bringing this up for a while, is I would like to look at uniforms, possibility of a uniform change. We had the guy that did our practice jerseys, same shirt, better quality print lasts longer, doesn't fall off when you look at it, let alone wash it. And then with that being said, coming up with something to do instead of sponsorships on the back of the jersey. This way, anybody that is a sponsor, you're only being sponsored while that team's being played. Getting banners. This way, we don't have to worry about the rush for the sponsors. We can get the jerseys made and get them ready to go. But having all the sponsors pay a little bit different figure that out, and having the banners lined on the outfield. This way, your team's being sponsored at all times, whether your team's playing and whatnot, and it's not just being on display for the hour and a half. It's on display while practices are out there, while other games are being played. I've been all over the place. Parents complaining about the jerseys just falling apart. By the time like 2 games in, you can't even tell there's a sponsor on the back of the shirt, let alone what team you are anymore. That's something that's the only thing I really have new. Whether we can have a bid, get a couple different people that want to give us bids or something on it, or go with who was doing our All-Star, who did our All-Star practice jerseys. I talked to him during the All-Star season. He's Tim. He's game. He's down for it. If that's something we can try out for the fall season, or can go going forward. But I just wanted to propose that instead of having sponsors on the back of the jersey, it'd just be the team name, the number on the back of the shirt, and then putting banners on the outfield or on the field. This way, you're, like I said, anybody that is a sponsor, you'll be on display, whether it's a practice or a game that's being played all day long and whatnot. That's the only new business I really have. It's just you by the time you wash that jersey one time, the lettering's falling off, and I mean, I think for the same price, we can probably get better quality. And they were the same exact style shirts. It's just a different print. I mean, I know you saw the practice jerseys that we had, so that's just honestly the only new business I really have going forward. If that's something we can figure out moving forward this way.
I think we should take bids every year, honestly. I don't think that's I think that's a smart thing to do, but also continuing, do we want to continue the same pattern? Softball, I think we talked in softball about going with the new professional teams, right? And so we've changed softball, 3 seasons in a row? Yeah. So, do we want to stick with, professional teams, colleges? I mean, we're not married to the professional teams. We've just done that for so long. So I think that's probably part of a bigger discussion around what do we want to do long-term with the jerseys, which kind of dictates what we need to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, whether we go with professional teams, college teams,
Yeah.
just something that you're gonna by week 2 of the season, you don't even know what's on the front of your jersey, let alone the back of the jersey. And like I said, I think with anybody that's a sponsor would rather have their stuff displayed all season long, whether it's a practice, just not for the hour and a half that you're playing, or an hour and 45, depending on the league that you're being represented. This way, you got a banner and whatnot. I think it'd be beneficial not only to the sponsors, but I mean, it would look nicer. This way, like they say, you're showing up with a jersey that has still your name on it, whether it's professional or college. So. Or whatever, however we go with making our team names go.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a sponsor per se. I mean, what's your thoughts? You always sponsor. You like it on the back of the jersey?
You see these kids all over town wearing these jerseys. You've seen kids wearing my jersey, after the season's over. So, as a sponsor, I definitely want to see my name on the back of the shirt.
We got any other sponsors? You like it on the back? Or some recognition on the jersey of some sort? Okay. Sure.
Yeah. My kids have closets full of jerseys, and they wear them every day sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I'd like to get to somewhere where we get, like, where we have something that lasts longer too. Well, I mean, like, even if, like, talk to the guy that does them now at Scotty's, or get someone have them do a better print to where, yeah. I just floating ideas, literally just floating ideas out there, but we need to find something with a better quality of a print. It's right around the same time, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm sure if we give, like, depending on the league size, he said 2 to 3 weeks, just the same as what we deal with Scotty's. So that's honestly my only thing, is just like we got here, but like last season I was pulling jerseys out that not even worn, and they were already flaking off, let alone that. And I was literally just handed these shirts, so I figured something, either we can go with the same guy and tell him, you need to up your quality, or we can get some bids going out on 2 different things, see what their turnaround could be, and hold them to it.
Well, I was gonna go to talk to Scotty. That was on my, or Jerry, whatever his name is, on my to-do list to see if he can up his quality, because it's been a big topic for months.
It's not the shirt, it's
That's the transfer at DTF. So it comes off. It's quality's
Like,
the biggest issue.
it wouldn't be the supplementary dye.
Are from
That's a little
75 years
something
ago.
like this is a different turnaround. But it's just the stuff, like it'd be the same as the jerseys are now. It's just a better quality paint. It wouldn't be the supplementary dye like this, because these are a little bit longer of a turnaround. Yeah. But even like our practice jerseys, those were just, I mean, it's literally the same style shirt. It just, the paint that they pressed on there was just a better quality and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. One of the neighboring leagues we played in the older division does that. So they're all the same. They're all the same team name and the different colors.
You dye some information or whatever you want, but you already have the logo for the front of the jersey. We're not, and it's the same. So you're just printing up different sizes. You can do, 100 of each size, because you're going to use them eventually.
Yeah, and then you can do the DTF on the sponsor.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could press them after, so they could be this and then DTF on the back.
In the long run, by having the same.
Or you can give your sponsor an option too.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think we can survey them too. That's what I was talking to Josh about. We have a list that we've compiled, and we could send a little generic, what do you prefer, right, scenario, and kind of come up with what we think is stuff we can accommodate versus an open-ended question, and just say, here's some multiple choice options. What do you like? What do you think would be better? Or do you like the way it is? Right? No, but I definitely agree. I think we should go get some bids for sure. Off the poll what we had last year, I'm pretty sure I have it that we can look at, keep it blind, and just have them submit it, and whoever we feel is the best.
So do we
Roll
owe
from there.
Scotty's money?
No,
Okay.
I think he's been paid.
All right, well,
But,
then if he's paid, then we're good. Because we can't go change if we haven't paid the guy, so.
No, we're good. We're good.
And then, like, with that being said, like, when do we plan on starting so we can start getting some stuff together for bids or
We
something?
can send stuff out this week, actually.
Yeah, I would
Just
say
start.
Okay.
ASAP.
I'd say a big one is offering terms, whether it's 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever.
It's a turnaround,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
some,
'cause-
like, money up front. I know Tim, he knows Tim. He's gonna want all his money up front because he's not gonna do it up front. So if we go somebody bigger that can do it, they'll give us terms.
Yeah, pay later. Yeah, it just depends, right? So that's where having money in the bank is helpful, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you can do that. where before we didn't have that option, right? We had to pay for it after the
You
fact.
just never know, like, oh, I need to add 75 more jerseys.
Sure.
We got 2 more weeks. Add 75, then you can get your invoice.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So let's definitely have some more conversation around that. We'll put a letter out there and see what they can come with terms and what the turnaround is, and we can get quotes for both options, right? And what that turn is, because this was pretty quick. I think he was doing these in a couple of weeks at the latest.
I know
I think it was like
beggars
10
can't be
days.
choosers, but I like this.
I was just trying to be simple. I was just
Yeah.
simple, but if it's something that we can do with this supplementary guy stuff, that I mean, it's gonna last forever. These kids,
Sure.
the sponsors talking about having their stuff last and these kids wearing it. It's just something that instead of it just falling apart, because I know on my team the sponsor name was falling apart. So I mean, if you were sponsoring my team, by week 7 the sponsors were already gone on some of the kids' jerseys. So I mean, what good does that do? If you're a sponsor, they're gonna wear it and it's not even there no more. So it's just something better quality that's gonna at least last longer and whatnot.
No, I don't disagree. Any other new business we need to discuss?
No,
No?
that's what I was gonna bring up
Okay.
myself, so,
No?
same page.
Jerseys?
I do want to, for players that want to play up in a
Yes.
division, it's been a hot topic of some of the parents I've talked to. Can we do it like other leagues where they have to write a letter to the board requesting that the kid plays up, and we do like a special assessment instead of just throwing them into our tryout, they just blend in with kids and playing up just because they wanted to.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we can have a request piece. I mean, it's supposed to go through the commissioners anyways, just from a safety perspective.
We do let some kids play up just for the sake of,
Mhm.
it's just easy to let them go play, but I feel like it waters down the division, and then I think it takes away from the division that they're supposed to be in. 'Cause now that we've gotten more competitive, which I think we're on the right step to, if we keep letting these kids play up, then where they're playing up from, they don't have the talent in there anymore. They've all playing up. So
Sure.
I
Sure.
think we should streamline that and just kind of come up with a system. And if they're able to compete with the older kids, so be it. But I think they should have a special assessment.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I had a couple softball messages this week. So it was, that's a.
I haven't gotten any
you're-
messages, so.
Well, yeah, text. So the timing is
I haven't had
relevant.
access to the email.
No, I don't disagree, right? So we want to keep them there. Now, if they can compete and it's something to press the kid and it's not a safety concern, then have at it, right? And I do need to clarify, because we've historically been told they can't play down in All-Stars. So we'll clarify that with our new state guy, who we know fairly well on the baseball side. Because softball allows for a little bit of that, just because of, you don't have a lot in each division, right? So they allow for some of that. So I'll get that clarified. But historically, we've been told no.
Not a-
Whatever they play in spring is where they're supposed to play in for All-Stars.
Now to piggyback that off of that, if someone plays up in the fall, up in the division for the fall, now come spring, are they allowed to go back down to their respected division? Say if someone plays up that's, say, 6 years old, they decide that's going to be 6 for spring and eligible for All-Stars. Are they, if they play up in 8U for fall, are they allowed to play down for spring?
I would would say yes, if their age is the right
Yeah, if
age.
the age
But I
is
mean,
right.
that's
So
an
it's-
assessment you and Mike can help make too, right?
So it's
And
not
I think once we
something,
get clarified 100% on, can you play up and then play down for All-Stars? Then that, we'll leave that up to you guys to figure out, does it make more sense for them to play up and then come back down for All-Stars?
I mean, it would give the kids for an experience for fall playing with better talent, like some of these kids that do want to play up, but I would hate to have them not be able to play up or have them play up in the fall, play up a division, and then them not be able to possibly play in their respective division for spring and take an all-star.
Yeah, as long as their age is good, I think that's the most important.
No, yeah, I'm just saying they'd have to play the 8U, they'd have to play the 6U or 8U spring in that division, whatever their respective division is. They'd have to play that season and down. But I just want to make sure that it's not something once they move up, they like. Okay, I just
it's
wanted to
all
piggyback that and
age-based.
make sure.
Conflicting information at states or districts, one or the other, but where some kids were playing up and then playing down in the spring. So we're going to find out what we can actually do.
Yeah, because I want to, like, if the parent all of a sudden decides, hey, I want to bring my kid back down so he can have an all-star chance, it would be good for our all-stars if a kid can get the better experience in playing against older kids and then moving back down for the spring if they want to get that all-star opportunity. It'd be good. This way they get better practice, better talent, more skilled, and then go back down. They'd have to play down again, but I just wanted to make sure that would be something.
Yeah, no, as long as they're age appropriate, I think that, I think that's probably a conversation you and Mike need to have with the parents and the coach. Does that make sense?
Because I do know a lot of like from All Stars. I know a lot of parents. I was like, yo, like I don't know if you'd be able to like you'd be taking an All Star appearance away from these kids that are going to be possibly 18 next year. And I was just talking. I know one that wants to play up, but I was like, these kids are going to be All Stars next year again. Most likely, unless something drastically happens. But that'd be up to them whether they want to move them back down so their kids can play all stars again. So I just want to make sure that was if there was nothing that says once you move up you can't move back down for another.
I've been
season.
going through our bylaws and updating what I know has been changed. That I'll bring to you guys at some point here.
Clarification on the tournament team. Have to be registered for the fall season? Registered players?
Correct, for tournament team.
Okay. And any special board approval or anything for a tournament team? Because I know, the reason I ask is I know
Yeah.
we're already starting to look into this.
Yeah.
And we're going to get practice in. And I want to make sure that we're covered.
Yeah, I think, we would just ask like, Ed did and I'll do during open mic is that you bring up, hey, we're wanting to have a X team, right? Right now, we're just doing open tryouts. Unless you're an existing team, right? And you already have a team and you're just maybe filling a couple positions. But yeah, I think just so it's out there that we know what's going on. Hey, we're doing open tryouts. Once we have a team, we submit the roster, it goes to the village, goes to us, and then the rest is history, right? But yeah, I think that's just part of that.
Requirements as far as where they live or anything like that? Certain.
I believe the tournament team's also minimum 25% roll palm, right? I think they're both 25% minimum. But to your point, since we haven't addressed the oddities if they're not playing in our program, we would just classify them as travel at that point, right? You'd be a travel team. It would qualify as both, but you'd need separate insurance to cover those kids that would not be part of our league.
Covered under roll palm.
Yeah. So if you have 11 girls and they're all registered in rec, they're all covered under our insurance, right? If you have 7 and 4 coming over, then we'd probably call that a travel team, and you need to get insurance through, USSSA or NSF. There's a bunch of them, and again, not terribly expensive. So, all right. Any other questions around that? Any other new business?
The way we do the way we do evals this year, can we use a different system that's not the other one? Yeah, maybe, is there,
It's
do
my
you,
best solution at the time. Well, yeah.
it just, like, when I was trying to do like the, what was it, 10U draft? I did one draft fine, and then the other draft, none of the numbers matched up.
That's where it got screwed up, is for some reason on the phone it only shows through 100, but on the computer it goes through like 800. So we'll just do each division separately, and it'll be 1 through 100. And we'll assign it by division. So I think we can clean up the process.
Okay.
Now that I saw what happened. We found them because I had a list, and, you know, you guys did a good job of writing the name, so I could at least attach the number to the right person.
I know our draft was, we didn't even have the right evaluations on it. We were just blindly picking people.
It's the best draft, man. Come on.
Luckily, I knew most of the kids.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, instantly.
Good Lord.
Now, with that being said, when we do that, are we is there a way you can, instead of just having numbers, that like you can you add the name on that website? Instead of
can.
just number one being, so
That's where I would solicit some help with some volunteers, because it is very time consuming to do it, but yes, you can.
you can, okay, so in
It's
this way,
easier to do like number one, and then you can just copy that out, and it goes 1 through,
Well, we can give it to
100.
one of our committees.
But yeah, if we can do it by division, and we have just a volunteer for each division, it won't be terrible. The hard part is we keep it open as late as possible.
yeah,
And so what happens is we close it, and then what happens? Jessica has like 70 people show up that are like,
I usually.
oh, I
have
just
about-
registered,
I
right?
usually
Well, of
have
course, they're
about,
not on the
like,
list,
20
because
to 40 people who register like the same day.
now are we gonna have
We
a
have
deadline?
eval that didn't even register yet. I'm like,
Are we
who
gonna have
you?
Mm-hmm.
a hard deadline going
well, I
forward?
think we have a hard deadline for evals, right? So if they're not on the list, in theory, you know, we can assess at that point, do we want to deal with it? If they're on the roster, I'd say,
I mean, I always
fine,
want to let
go ahead
as
and have
many
'em.
kids play.
but if
as
they haven't
possible. I don't
registered
wanna
yet,
tell
then
anybody no.
yeah, I think we need to have them sit there and register.
No, I
We
don't.
did
I
that
want
at
to
the
make sure
table.
kids
They
play
register
too,
right
but
now.
I would like at least like something.
That's my problem. I just don't want to tell anybody no. So, and 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah, I think if they're
probably
registered, we'll have to add them. The problem is they'll be assigned a number at that point.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a name.
But I hate for people just to register afterwards, just so their kids don't have to eval, and then
We do get a big chunk though, right? So when we have our hard stop, so quote unquote, hey, today's the last day, we probably still get another 40, 50 kids, honestly.
Every time.
So, you know, I don't want to have it too hard of a stop, you know, because we've done that, and then they still show up at evals, right? So, you know, if we can accommodate them, I'm with Jessica. They're already there. Go ahead and let them do it, right? Versus trying to get them to come back. Especially if they've registered. If they haven't registered, tell them to bring out their phone and just register right
Yeah,
then.
they usually
you
do
know?
register. If they don't, if they're not registered, I usually will make them register like at the table, and then they do it that way.
Softball's notorious for that for some reason.
Softball is usually about like more than half of it. You know? Like they bring their girl, like their friend. They're like, "Hey, my friend wants to play," and their friend ends up evaling and playing.
Can you do that over here? We got the other 800 people behind you that want to check in. No, yeah, we can definitely add names. So I'll need some help with that. I'll give you guys the login, and we just go through, and I'll show you guys how to do it. It's just time consuming. It's not that it can't be done, but normally I'm doing that up until the night of or the 2 nights before. So it can be a little fast.
Well,
So,
I mean, if we break it apart, like
yeah, if we break it up by division, we get a volunteer by division. And
we'll give Josh T-ball.
No, Joey gets T-ball since he graduated. Joey or Brandon. They've graduated.
Oh, 8U now?
Yeah, they're all in AU now, see?
Me too. 8U's my favorite. I love 8U. My
Alright.
favorite.
All right, any other new business? We'll flip over to open mic and take questions or any comments. That would be where we would talk about the travel or tournament team. So if you guys are interested, that's what we'll talk about. So, all right. Yep, no new business. We'll move to open mic.
first for your tournament team?
Mr. John? Are they doing 10?
And throw you on the hot spot. Come on up.
10 or 8?
I don't know.
You have to know that you're going to be holding open tryouts for potential tournaments.
Is that 8? That's 8U, right? Oh, 10U, yeah. We've talked about 8 and 14, right?
You guys got to get up to the mic and say, so it's official.
Well, Ed did 8 and 14 for you. We just haven't done 10.
Come on down.
Well, I'm saying Ed discussed that 2 board meetings ago, so. No, well, it's not really a vote. It's more of a, sure, go ahead and move forward, but. Yeah, I know.
I am Stephen Pointer. I am
champion.
the 8U champion coach. This- another one. Put that out there, that matters. So no, I'm going to be looking to do in August some open workouts for 10U tournament team, and then have some tryouts at the end of August, beginning of September for softball, 10U softball. 10U. Yep. Moving on up. Tournament. In August, yep. Yep. I have those scheduled. I haven't put it out yet, but I was waiting for eval dates before I put out the tryout date, so it doesn't clash, so.
Well, I know like she's been posting for Facebook, but if she doesn't, then if you want to post it there, then I can put it on our Facebook too.
Yep, yep. I was just waiting for to put the tryouts on there. So I was waiting to see when evals were for the league before I put that date out there.
We'll get that by the end of the week so you can see it.
Okay. Is it going to be on like Saturdays, or are they going to be in the weeknight again?
I don't know when that goes. Well, I'll tell you what
I'm like, come on. You got it right there.
Now, we didn't formalize this, but I think I had evals on the 22nd and 23rd, tentatively of August.
And then when would opening day be?
Depending on what we want to do with opening day, because I know there's been a lot of conversation. But I had the September 19th and 20th, one of those 2 days, which is a Friday or Saturday.
And then do that the opening day the week before, because I know they
Or, yeah, I know there's some conversation, but that could be opening day in the sense of that's when we do whatever the ceremony is, if we bring kids out and do activities. I'm putting you in charge of pictures. But yeah, that's what I have so far, Steve.
Okay.
And if you guys want to look at that on your calendars, if that is an issue, let me know. But I think it's pretty good because it gives us 2 weeks of school, almost 2.5 weeks of school, so it gives us a little more runway to sign people up. And then it gives us about 3 weeks of practices before we get into the actual season, which is pretty normal. And I think when I counted it out, it's like 7 weeks of games, right? And there's a lot of
I believe this weekend.
days off in there,
Possibly use
random days off of school.
to try some of the
No,
Alicia's are approved day one.
well, no, I'm just saying in general.
But there's
If we're talking August through, and then the idea would be to finish by, what do we say that was, 15th and 16th of November,
Mhm.
or the week of the break of Thanksgiving.
Correct.
So that would give us almost 2 full months of games. With some couple holidays in between each of these.
I would expect rain, but
Oh, yeah, falls.
What's that? Probably be after 30th. So then we definitely know who's signed up or not. Yep.
I know Mark really wants to.
I mean, there's a good 18 or 19 that are, I haven't talked to them, but from between the 10U All-Star team, which all stays down, and then half of the 8U team coming up, almost all of them are probably going to be interested. And there's 18 quality players right there. So,
You got that mic on?
yeah, I have the mic on.
That's what it is.
Is this better?
Much better.
So,
Well, I mean, as a point of reference, I mean, I know there's a lot of interest in the room around that. You did that with the 8U team, right? You guys did a lot of open, not tournament team, but we did a lot
yeah,
of
we
open
didn't officially have a
practices.
tournament. We started practicing.
And just that,
December,
we're talking about the difference in a
January?
couple extra practices a week, right? Or in the semester. Look at what it did at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So,
It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
absolutely. Extra reps.
Extra reps.
Still working with the 6U girls. The ones that are moving up, and girls that might move up that are moving up too.
Now, do you plan on taking that tournament team and making it a travel team, or continue just to be a tournament
We'll see
team?
what the future brings.
Just trying to
Yeah.
figure out
For
where
this
you're-
year,
where you're
tournament
at.
team, and,
See where,
we
see where it
develop well
goes.
enough and we want to turn it into a travel team when they go to 12U, then we will. If not,
I'm just trying to get ideas, see where you're at, see where your head's at. Thank you.
yep.
With that right now, especially like at 8U, there's not that many girls. So if you started a tournament team, you're going to compete against each other, and you're going to lose your all-stars to that travel.
That's why I was just, that's why I was asking what his plans were to see what he says.
Because there was talk about somebody starting an 8U travel team, which we're going to have discussions next week on. So it don't interfere with Bobby's 8U tournament team.
You want Bobby to come up here now?
Well, we talked about 8 and 14, so I don't think anyone had any questions, right? 8 and 14 tournament teams Ed talked about.
Well, no, that's the one person I wanted.
Different, though. This is different.
Ed?
No, a friend of his.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have one for 10. Anyone have any questions for Steve? Want to grill him while he's up here, John?
I had a long talk with Jackie today, anyway, so.
You're good then. You're good. Good for you, Steve.
Oh, anything? That's it?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yep. We'll see. See where it goes. Thank you. I'm absolved.
I'm Coach Bob Godin. Coach with Steve for the 8U All-Star team that we just won states. Been coaching 8U for the past 3-4 seasons now. Me, Steve, and Mike. We're looking to do the same thing he is doing for the 10U, trying to get the 8U girls enough practices and tournaments to where they can stick together throughout the year. We can go back to states and defend our title. We have 8 girls total so far. Looking to fill in a couple spots, like 4 spots after evaluations go through. So we're basically trying to start the workouts.
Okay. Is that the ring? Yes, sir. Nah, look at that. See? It was blinding me. I can't see over here. Any questions for Bobby?
This is 8U, right?
8U.
Okay.
Same question I'm gonna ask him. Are you planning on trying to you stick together as a tournament team, or, and,
I'd rather stick with the tournament team, build the girls in the rec, because the rec is the piggyback for
yeah, because that,
it's part of my commitment to parents that
yeah. So I'm all for it. I like the idea of tournament teams rather than travel teams, because then you withdraw from the league, the rec league, and this is where rec league mainly. So I just want to know where your head's at. Me and you did tournament teams all the time. We never really did travel till we got older. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'd rather
I think
rather
softball's gonna
build-
see a lot of season with Wellington not doing it.
Thank you. I just figured I'd ask you the same question I asked him, so just kind of know where you're at with the future. I mean, down the road, do what you want. like the idea of keeping a group together that's going to possibly play all-stars and go put Royal Palm on the map rather than just to be a basic travel team that withdraws from the league. So I'm going to have that same question for anybody that wants to do a tournament team rather than travel. I'm all for the tournament teams rather than that, because this way, if you have someone that can't play, a tournament you guys want to do, you can fill a spot and whatnot. Grab a girl or boy that's in the league that's worthy of, that you believe that can help you guys out for that said tournament and go for that. So I'm gonna have the same question for anybody, whether it's baseball or softball.
He went through the village website.
Don't worry, I haven't signed my son up either yet, so I hear you on that. So.
There's enough local tournaments that they could get into with travel teams to play up, to that quality. And the good thing about that, they've played together now for a while. So a lot of these 8U teams are starting out first-year 8U teams, travel teams. So they should be able to compete with them too.
Anybody that wants, even on the baseball side, I'm gonna ask the same question because I want to make sure we're not taking boys or girls out of the rec side, but also building up our recs as well. I got the same question for everybody on
But
the other side.
what I'm trying to say is, though, now that they're practicing with the team longer
Yeah.
in the off seasons, they're building up a stronger team that they can compete with these other teams. In the past, you couldn't do that; they would just get destroyed. Now they do have a little more background.
So, question.
I see. I felt I got that vibe from you when I asked you what you're doing. So I'm just making sure. I got to ask that question because a lot of people are gonna. I mean, not everybody, but you're gonna have that one person who wants, hey, I want to be a tournament team. Next thing you know, they're taking X amount of kids and turning it into a travel team, and then there goes those X amount of kids out of the rec league. So, and that's what we are here. We are a rec league more than we are a travel. So,
Now, what,
The
I know
younger.
what you're saying moving on from spring.
Yeah.
yeah, just in the future, just kind of just have them come back and whatnot.
Kind of like with Clammer or whatever, he went straight travel.
We've had some folks do that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Nice ring.
Do those tournament teams fall into being our all-star teams?
I think it's the start of it.
Tell them you want it in, Bobby. Tell them you want it in gold next time when you
All-star
defend
team.
it. Tell them you want it in gold when you defend it. Be like, listen, I already got the silver one. I'm defending this. When I win, I want the gold.
Only fair is because my kids only play rec. We don't play travel. And my kid gets the one opportunity to play all-star, and I don't want him to be ousted because he's not on that tournament team and he only played rec. So now he doesn't get a chance at all-stars because it's just the tournament team kids.
No, I think you still have a trial, and that's not saying you got a kid on the tournament team because nobody wanted to play tournament, that he doesn't beat him out. Like, why wouldn't they wouldn't take, you would take the kid, it's all-stars, you want the best of the
Yeah.
rec all-stars.
Yeah, and I think we need to clarify, open workout means open workout, right?
Means
Not
you're- yeah, so-
by invite only.
Your kid's
So if someone shows up,
Yeah,
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that the kids that don't choose to do travel or tournament, they still get afforded the opportunity to be a part of All-Star, even though they they don't want to do that because my kids play multiple sports and we don't do travel because of that fact. But my kid likes to play All-Stars in the summer because that's when we have open between sports.
Like going on that, but like look at Josh. Josh had a team that he was working with, like a tournament team where he had open workouts and stuff like that. A couple of kids weren't even on his all-star team. They were on a different all-star team. I mean, those kids are most likely going to make an all-star team because they've been just practicing more. But Josh's kids, I think he only had on his all-star team compared to the team he had, it was like 5, 6, maybe 7 at the max when he had 11 kids, 12 kids on the roster for the all-stars. So there are going to be open slots, and it's not like we have 2 per division. We're having, like, from what I hear is we got 1, like they got 1 and 1 10U, and that if we have enough girls that have 2 all-star teams in per division, that's a whole nother team that's opened up. I mean, most likely they will be all-stars because they're practicing more, and baseball or softball is about repetition. You get better by practicing more, but like 8U baseball, we had 2 all-star teams. We only had 1 tournament team. So there's going to be...
Make sure those kids are still afforded those opportunities, even though they're not doing those.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing about not having them be travel teams because they're not withdrawing from the thing. And then guess what? Those kids that are playing, they during the season, they get all spread out. They're on different teams throughout the season. They come together once or twice a week to practice. They do a tournament here and there. But those kids are spread out throughout this team, the league. So say your kid's not on that tournament team, but he's got 2 or 3 kids that got drafted on the rec team. He's going to be practicing with those kids. Those kids are it feeds off each other. The kids are going to see those kids. He's going to want to improve and get better himself and whatnot. So by the time the end of the season comes, he's been practicing with those kids. You got a lot more talent throughout the league rather than just withdrawing them. That's why I'm asking if they're wanting to be travel teams in the future so they're not withdrawing. So the kids that don't do the tournaments they will be practicing in the rec league with those kids that are doing these tournament teams. So it's beneficial that, in my way, it's beneficial.
They're practicing rep. They're going to practice with a team. The whole team's going to practice together.
Yep.
He's mansplaining me.
Anyone else?
Yeah, well, if
Any
it's a
questions?
tournament and they're registered, then it shouldn't be a problem.
have to be registered in rec.
Well, I mean, that's like a loop.
We can split hairs, yes.
It would either be travel or tournament. So tournament teams
Tournament
means
means
we're
they're all
all
registered.
registered.
Or insurance and your travel.
Or we,
We don't manage any of the expenses for the travel team. That's all done by the
that's all
coaches.
done through coaches.
It'd be a different fee for the tournament.
They have to submit information. Yeah.
I think that we said that's a requirement to be on the tournament teams, you have to be registered for the fall team.
Well, that's what
It's a, I mean, that's a gray area.
as long as they're registered.
I mean, that's a loophole,
Right.
but
Sure. I mean, registered, we're covered under insurance. So that's what I would tell you from that standpoint.
If I tell them you have to register if you don't show up, when I say you have to show up for a different rec team, doesn't have anything to do with you. But also, like I said, if it's a big deal.
Teams, though, if you're dropping kids that are not gonna play rec,
Sure.
just pay for the insurance and not.
100%.
We
Yeah.
could do it. Other leagues do it in advance, right? Put them all on one team.
Yeah, that's true. It's another loophole.
I'd,
Come back to you guys for spring, or we can do it again for spring, fall, spring, summer, so that when we go to district next year, not so embarrassing. We only were able to beat one team at district, which I know some teams didn't, but, some of these other programs, whoever it is, are just basically like a travel team all year because they just finagle it how they finagle it. Their guys don't play, and maybe their league doesn't care. But, so then we go there against them and it's like, a shit show, really. So I want to be able to get these guys on the same page when we show up there next year. It represents Royal Palm in a better light, and everyone out there in every other league, when they see districts brackets next year, they're going to say, well, good, game one against Royal Palm, I'm in game two in the winners bracket, and you show up, and these guys have been together for a year, and we're on the same boat.
from my understanding, from what I read in our bylaws and how it works, is if you're going to be a tournament team, you have to be involved in the rec league, and it's not just registered. You have to be playing, and that's from my understanding. I can go back and read that again and come back to you with an answer. But what you're talking about, just registering with the league, and not being involved in our rec season, you're kind of asking for more of a. No, I'm
What you
saying,
asked.
but to answer both, to kind of answer both at the same time, if you're just going to register and not participate in the rec, then you're looking at being a travel team. That's a completely different subject. Like if you want to have your kid be involved in a tournament team, they have to be involved in our rec league. And that is being involved with the team that you get drafted by and participating and whatnot. If that's the road you want to go down where you don't want to be involved with rec, then you'd have to be considered a travel team, which is a completely different thing. I'm just kind of answering her, and then you can report, because that's kind of you might have that. You can also tell your parents that as well, but that's my understanding. It's been about a year since I've actually read that, because I talked to Josh about it about a year ago, after last year's All-Stars, and I'd have to read it, but if I'm not mistaken, anytime you want to be involved with a tournament team, you have to be involved with rec, and be involved, not just register with the league. Travel is a completely different story. You have to play in the spring. You don't have to be playing in the fall. But to be part of our tournament teams year round, you'd have to be involved with the rec league year round.
I had a post on here about maybe a month and a half ago. It says no
So, but like just to clarify, if you do want to be a tournament team, they're gonna have to be involved in the league, the rec league. What?
Yeah, they all need
Yeah.
to be registered.
Because I don't know who, I know he's talking about, I don't know who posted that, so I'm just answering in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, you 100% have to register. We can define the secondary part of what you're talking about, and that's, I think for a board, that's for us to do, is define what the second piece of that, right? You 100% have to be registered. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have one or two kids that aren't registered, then you're gonna have to pay for separate insurance for those kids. I mean, and then it's gonna be a travel team, so.
Steve, you have a question? I was going to say, the wording specifically for tournament team is, it doesn't mention fall at all. It says they have to be potential spring all-star candidates.
Like I said, it's been a year since I've read it. I'd have to read it, go back.
Yeah, and that's the plan, like I said, is if we have 10, we have 11 kids on the team, I think one's not playing anymore, 2 have moved on to a travel team at Seminole Palm, the other 8 want to stay, so we found 2 new kids who want to sign up for it and all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
have to propose a process for you guys the next year too, is exactly what we want to move forward with, build into.
Yeah, just send it to me and we'll.
I think that's something we have to discuss as a board too, because if they register and they're covered on the insurance, they want to play. There's kids that play other sports in the fall that don't want to commit to fall ball, but they still like to play on a tournament team. So we'd have to discuss that as a board. If they're committed to whatever it is in the fall, another team, but they still want to be involved in our program, do we give that option as long as they're paying the fee?
Yeah, I think we could probably come up with some type of exemption for them, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I mean, I'm just trying to make sure.
Why that?
And especially if it's for a
Jessica's list.
tournament team, not a travel team.
Yeah, I think we can come up with an exemption for them.
I think everyone's intentions, everybody's team is to build for the spring team. I think
Yeah.
is exactly
Right.
what everybody said, is to build the team for a spring and compete with these other leagues that weren't normally competing with.
And if we don't make exceptions, and they are better players, we might lose them to a travel team in the spring. So we're going to be losing players instead of trying to keep them.
And we've seen it on the softball side, we've seen it on the baseball side. We lose kids to leagues
Left and right.
players every year.
I don't have any other questions for you. Sure. Any questions for Nick? No? All right. Yeah, just send me the roster. We'll go through it. Awesome. Thank you. Any other open mic? Come on up. It's-
everything
It was
I
a rough
said
game,
when
I
we
tell you.
voted it out.
It's banana ball, banana ball.
We had 80 strikeouts in one game, and that's like ridiculous. Also, like, the coaches pitching, they're like lobbing it to these kids, so
Sure.
where is the benefit there? And I want to bring it back for 6U also, because do what we did like when my son was in 6U, where they started with the sling, if we missed it like 2 times, and they bring the tee out, and they get, at least they're introduced to the sling in 6U, and then when they get to 8U, they're not like shell shocked when they see this sling coming up. So that's my hot topic. Or, as Josh and I, like, we discussed it also, like, options wise, if we don't want to bring the sling back for whatever reason, reevaluating the 5 pitch rule. So, like, if their coaches are pitching balls that these kids can't hit, that should be considered a no pitch. Because, like, even with the sling, if it's too high or too low or too outside, the ump will even call it like a no pitch or too high or too low, whatever. Like, my husband was pitching, doing coach pitch, and he literally had a panic attack on the field, by the way, because he was so stressed out about it. He's pitching behind these kids, and then they got struck out. They're like turning around looking, like, what, I couldn't even, it's behind me, and that was considered a pitch. So, I want to bring it back. I don't really know why. I know why we got rid of it in the first place. There was a lot of like stipulation around it, like the placement of it and how the speed of it and things like that. So if we do bring it back, what I would propose is the league buying game slings and having someone set them up and calibrating them and leaving them there the whole day for the games, and then someone picking them up and putting them back into like the upstairs area or whatever. They're cheap. You can get them on Black Friday for like $100. It's not that hard. You can get some high school kids to come do community service hours and have them set it up, rake the field, set up the slings, and you can give them a couple hours and call it. I know it's a hot topic for everybody, but
Sure, sure.
I was the only one that
I
voted
know a
to
lot of
keep
people
it.
want that. So if we bring it to a vote, I can get enough people here that'll vote it back. Because
I agree.
Any other feedback on that?
I mean,
You said, I said the same thing when we voted it out.
we've talked about it in depth many times. Personally, I don't care how the ball comes at these kids. They just got to learn how to hit the ball. So that's my thing. The ball's got to be put in front of them. They got to learn to hit the ball, never through a sling, through a coach pitch, or whatever. I don't like the sling in 6U, but I don't have a kid in 6U, so it's whatever. 8U, they are seeing it in All-Stars. They are going to see it in All-Stars. However, they'll never see it again after it. That's my only two bits.
which that's fine, I know they're never going to see it again because they're in 10U, but they're in 8U. They're not in 10U and all these other.
Well, I can say the same thing about 6U.
8U teams are using it. All using it, they all know how to hit off of it, and then our team comes up and it's like, they've never seen it before in their lives.
And that was my fear of taking it away, because no other league does coach pitch. I'm telling you, they don't.
Ours is the only one that does the sling. OU doesn't do the sling.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, Healy does this.
They all do the sling. My kid played, we just got, not.
Martin County had a heart attack having the coach pitch, so we know they do the sling.
Yeah. It was
I liked the coach pitch in 6U. I think that was great. My kid felt stellar when he hit the ball, and by the time we were done with it, he was hitting the ball every time off the coach. I don't like coach pitch in 8U though. I think we need to bring back the slings. Yeah, I thought it was great in 6U. I thought that was a good change. From what I could see from my kid playing, the coach pitch in 6U was a great change, but not in 8U.
Let's add those for August, because we got, August 5th? Is that what you have for our next meeting, August 5th? So we can put it into motion. We have
I'll
plenty
motion
of
it.
equipment. We have plenty of
I don't think we
equipment.
should
to
we
do
got
that
this.
plenty
to
of
begin with.
slings, and I agree, though, we should probably, if we did vote it in somewhat, we need 2 good slings for game time.
Well, we have slings and you have all the replacement sling, or springs upstairs.
Up there in Field 5.
Where the baseballs are, there's a ton of springs, brand new springs, so we can replace all of them.
I own a sling, so we replaced our springs, because that's how we practice, we take it out to New England Field and we practice all the time.
Mhm.
So it's, however you practice with your team is how you practice with your team. If you have a coach who doesn't want to go and buy a sling, that's your prerogative, but like, game day, you're gonna be having a sling, so
Sure.
figure it out.
My husband learned how to use it off of YouTube. He watched YouTube for like 2 hours and became like a pro at it.
Yeah, it's all ball placement, like,
Stand on the back. For God's sake, stand on.
Literally, and he became an aficionado at it after watching YouTube.
I just think the biggest reason why we probably took it away is because there was so much confusion on like where it goes in front of the rubber, behind the rubber, how fast, how slow, whatever.
That we're talking about dates, did we talk about a date about having a coaches meeting?
Yeah, to be before those
Okay.
two, yeah. It could be before,
We could do it at
evals.
draft too. We could
could.
make, I mean, I don't know.
Make them all come and,
Yeah.
Because, but they weren't, correct me if I'm wrong, they weren't league slings that we were using.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
All
We
the,
were using my personal sling.
well, that was your all's decision, but every coach was given one.
Well,
yeah, we have slings. We have plenty of slings.
Babe Ruth had changed it to where we were using the blue sling to begin with, and then they changed it at the tournaments for the last season we played 8U, that it was the black
Sling with the
And
one arm.
we went and bought all the black slings, and then the
That's what you
season later,
practice with
they
over the
changed it
summer.
back to the blue
They're,
sling.
yeah, that's what I use, which there's no difference, just to let you all know, but
The black and blue.
they throw, there's not a huge,
It's the
but they use
same,
the
yeah.
blue right now. We played blue. They use blue in states and blue in district.
Well, we played one district tournament where they required the black one.
Now, you're talking about the crazy looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
played with
we
that
have one of those too.
Yeah, we got those too.
It's
The
a
one in
one arm.
Sarasota.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one in Sarasota.
No, we have one of
That's
those.
the one she's talking about.
I think it was my son's last season in 8U where they made us use the black one.
A league sling, and they were just so inconsistent. It was like we were getting nowhere with them. That's why.
We always used our personal one.
Yeah, that's not every coach has one. I mean, if we can get a couple,
And not every coach is going to go
we
buy
can get
it.
a couple of new ones or something more consistent, then that's what each game will be. You won't be using your personal one for a game. You'll be using a league sling.
Which is what I would want, is to like walk up and see like, okay, the sling is set, it's got the sandbags, it's been already calibrated, we know it's ready to rock and good to go, and there's no like switching of it, and everybody knows, both teams know, okay, this is the game sling, so there's no question like, oh, did you mess with it, or whose is this, oh, your sling is not calibrated at the right whatever, because that's, the whole issue is what was happening the season prior, is that everybody was fighting with everybody because it was positioned wrong, and it was too fast or too slow, or our kids aren't used to it that fast, or whatever. And then it needs to be written, if we do bring it back, it needs to be written out, like when we are practicing. Okay, this is the calibration, this is the speed it should be going, and this is where it's set, so each kid is practicing correct length, distance, away, and speed.
I still have that committed to memory. 743 or 843.
It is, but it's not always, that's not always accurate either.
Yeah, you got to.
You got
Well,
a
it's
good
between the
spring
two.
or a bad
Between the two,
spring,
yeah.
and
That's why you got that
have
little
to bulk
toggle
up.
for
Best thing to do is pull out this
radar.
radar gun and just have it in the right spot.
Yes,
Yeah, and the umpire runs it, so they set it up, we don't.
the umpire
we don't
runs it.
touch
My recommendation, just when seeing those calibrate those is softball, whenever they go from coach pitch and rec to try to do sling and the all-stars and districts and stuff like that, it never goes well. It's a very difficult transition. So if you're looking for the best for all-stars and for them to be able to compete, I would do this sling, during the rec, because of that. This is gonna give you all sorts of testing. It's very, the opposite, transition is not difficult. I've seen it the last 3 years at state softball. Maybe baseball is completely different, but I doubt it's the same sling we use, but it's just a very difficult.
You just have to get newer game slings or something.
Or just
Put all the springs.
parts, yeah,
Yeah.
put new
You
springs
got
on
the
them.
slings that we have, or get something new. Like
Mhm.
they were just so inconsistent. You can vouch one. You can vouch one. They're so inconsistent.
Make all the 8U games in the afternoon because a little bit of dew on the ball makes a big difference on the sling.
Huge.
We used to carry rags in our bag just for, in case.
I'm not a guy for 8U for, but for 6U, I don't think I had any 6U.
Nope.
I liked the coach pitch in 6U.
I don't have a kid in 6U, so I was just speaking from experience from what, like, my son did in 6U, which I thought was cool, because then he was able to see the sling. But we also moved him up really quick from 6U to 8U, and then he's been an 8U for like 18 years or so.
8 strikeouts in an inning, he's been an 8U for 18 years.
I know.
Hey, what, who is your?
We played with him a few seasons. What did we play, like 3-4 together, something like that?
Yeah.
You gotta check that birth certificate.
That's right. Like, 8, I'm amazed. 8 strikeouts in 1 inning.
Oh my gosh.
I'm messing with you.
I will say we adapted pretty quick after that game,
We did. It was rough.
but we should have.
Well, add it to our list of items. We'll talk about that next time for sure.
Well, we just came back
I
seeing
mean,
that
I will say
funky
this,
swing.
though, we only tried it for 1 season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know,
Yeah.
should we maybe try it in the fall?
Put it up for next meeting.
For full
Yeah, we'll
concept,
put it
or-
as new business for next meeting and go through it.
Thank you. What was your name? Diane. What?
Any other open mic? Yes, sir.
Patiently waiting.
So honestly, no, what I believe for the sling, once you guys make a decision, you just need to put in the rules and regulations, the distance, the speed, the calibration, and things like that. Just need to put it in writing so that everybody knows what to expect.
So I will say it is clearly in the rules.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying, people just, the thing was, people just didn't read them.
It's like guidelines that like our league runs by, like that we do have guidelines that the sling has
Yep.
to go by for Babe Ruth.
Yeah, it's a
So, I
certain
mean,
speed.
it's there.
It's like 40
not,
or
like, up to
43 miles an
judgment.
hour.
It's already set.
40 and 43.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of us following that.
Yeah, getting coaches to read the rules is the hard part.
For 18 years, we're going to be scooting it right up. We want the pitch coming in as fast as possible.
Super good by the time he gets to 10.
It helped my kid in 10U, I'll say that.
So my name is Joe. I'm a basketball coach at Liberty Wellington since '99. Running JC from the rec. I've done classes there for championships and stuff like that for basketball. But I was actually coming here for see if I can help you guys out. But I think that's 2 things I can be able to help you guys out with. Get in contact with the shirts. I do have a shirt company in BTF. I do sublimation. It's right here in Waxahachie. So just let me know how I'm in contact. I'll bring you guys samples and stuff like that. My turnaround is
Sure.
quick, 2 weeks, something like that, depending on the everything ready, the logos and the
Sure.
stuff like that. So reach out for that. Also, I was on Facebook the other day and I found a lady named Claudia. I don't know if you guys know Claudia. She put a post about a fundraiser you guys are doing at Royal Theater.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I reached out to her because I also do fundraising, but I do custom sports memorabilia, I do custom framing and stuff like that. And what I do is I come to like an event like you guys are having, I set up a table at no cost to you guys, and I help you guys try to raise funds. I do the monthly fundraiser at Boone with Maria. The last one we did for the Wellington Post, I raised them $700, and it could be horrible for my memorabilia. It cost them literally nothing for me to go set up, deal with the customers, handle all the transactions, and do a nice exchange of $700 cash or something like that. So I'm not sure if that's something you guys would be interested in or something.
Sure.
What do you mean by like memorabilia? Like, what is that?
I can I can do any team, any sport, any player. So I do like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Shohei Ohtani. Like depending on like what the organization is, I'll kind of like do custom frames to kind of match the baseball and some criteria and stuff like that.
So it's like pictures?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
Pictures, like balls,
What do you mean?
posters.
What is the memorabilia?
Like, what is it?
Oh,
What are you selling?
It's custom frame like
Like an
Like a
actual
picture
frame?
of my
Okay.
kid with a cool
I
frame.
can do all that, you know what I'm saying? Like right now for the Colts, they went to Cooperstown, they got their team picture and individual picture. So a lot of the parents want to do like custom frame that for them and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Well, for like as far as like the vendors, because like I know
Yeah.
we're doing like the opening days and all
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a part of that committee, but I don't know what vendors they have coming out.
that's your committee.
No,
No.
I mean,
It's Mike.
on your,
Mike is sponsors.
Well,
It depends on how
well,
you
I
want
mean,
to
it
chop
would
it
kind
up.
of be like a little bit of both.
because like Alicia's doing the one as well.
Events, yeah.
She did that one.
Sure.
Because we're looking for vendors to like come out to the fields too, like for our events.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he's talking
we
about.
do a
That's
lot of
exactly what we do.
events like at the fields. Oh, it's like silent auction stuff. Okay.
Okay, cool. I gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, leave us your info. We always have, folks at the
Maybe we
fields
should
and
give
stuff.
them like Alicia's info because she's the one setting up all the vendors for our events coming up.
We'll
'cause-
hook up with you afterwards. We'll get you
Yeah.
some contact info and vice versa. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Well, I'll just tack on.
Did you want to say anything? Or did you have, okay.
Right now, the game plan for me is to continue my 13U to 14U. All the same kids. I think I lost 2 kids. They were Boynton kids anyways, but all the rest of them, I'd say half of them play in a league with us anyways. And then Nick left, but we had a really good, strong showing in 11U. So the goal would be to do a tournament team for those guys. Same thing that we want to do here. We want them all to play. And selfishly, I want them all to play because all 4 of them were coaches. So we want them to play and coach in the fall as well. But they did really well. They made it to the semifinals and were probably a hit away from playing the district championship, right? So they did really, really well. All rec kids, no travel kids. And so probably start doing some open workouts in probably late July, early August for that. But that's the game plan so far. You guys have any questions around either one? 12, obviously, we expect them all to play. 14, they're not required to, but I would tell you 5 of the 10 last year played both spring and fall. God bless them, because a lot of them played middle school, travel, and rec. So how they played all 3, I don't know. It's like the softball girls. They play on like 7 teams. It's crazy.
Are you having tryouts for your 13, 14 team?
I will. Yeah, I'll post some stuff. We'll have a couple opening roles because of the 2 that left.
Let me know my nephew wants to try out.
Is baseball doing anything coming up in July as far as tournament teams, extra practices, anything like that? 'Cause right now I'm on field date, that's why I'm asking with the 6U girls. I'd rather stay there right
The
Yeah.
now.
12U All-Star team, we've kind of extended our season. We're actually in Delray for the next 2 Fridays. We're playing the Delray team. So, but we're not playing at the Willows. I don't think we're having any practices.
I'm there on Mondays and Wednesdays.
I think you're okay. I don't think you have any
Yeah.
issues.
Just let everybody know.
So nothing from
So I'm gonna
12,
do it through the rest of the summer.
Yeah, no, I don't foresee it. All these guys have graduated from T-ball at this point. They got to move to the other fields. Do we know when we get 3 and 4 back? Approximately? Okay, all right.
And I plan on doing the same thing as well, tournament team. I don't know if it's going to turn into more travel for the fall, but for 8U, we got 5, 6 kids coming back from our all-star team, and I don't know if we're gonna play rec in the fall or just try to play tournaments in the fall. So we're ready for spring.
I'm in the same boat as you, Josh.
So that's what I was saying.
Tournament or travel at this point, but
But we are going to hold a tryout as well, or open workout, whatever you want to call it, sometime into July or whatever, because we got several positions. Got to get at least 5 more kids.
Sure.
I mean, ours is gonna be more 7U.
Yeah, we were going to be 8U. They're going to stay in the 7U because in the fall there are 7U brackets. Not in the spring, but
Are you having an open tryout for 7U too?
I want to do open tryout at the end of July and start practicing
And that was where I was getting at on the advanced rec, is if we signed up through the league, we could, if we both had a team, we could technically play each other all season.
Sure. Yeah, there's some weird loopholes some of these other leagues do. It's a
It's a
different conversation.
Conversation of morals.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So they have divisions within each division,
Yeah.
right? They have like an
So
advanced
they have
8U
advanced rec.
and then like a rec 8U.
Yeah, they all sign up and you're playing and you're still representing, but only, and I'm saying that only for the fall. Not spring. Spring, all our kids will be on mixed teams, whatever.
And it didn't work out well. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't play, it's a,
I mean, but then that takes away all the competitiveness from rec, though.
well, then we just goes travel and then you don't play at rec at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in terms of insurance and stuff like that, of just
Yeah.
going through the league and the league getting money and still, instead of,
And it generates more money for the league. 'Cause
Yeah.
if we just go and buy $200 worth of insurance, we're not even buying that.
like, it wouldn't even, we wouldn't even be involved with the other side of the rec. Only in the fall, and this is only fall. Because we would primarily play tournaments, local tournaments, because there's several, we know.
Yeah, there's quite a few in the fall.
And it's not really like a rec season then, and then we get the complaints of our rec season's not competitive enough because all the good kids are,
And get better, so they can
I don't know, I have a problem
have
with
a
that.
chance, yeah. Because it,
Yeah, but I'm what are you gonna league though? You got $150 per kid times 22 kids that naturally wouldn't be playing.
Well, they still
I just, it's gonna.
draft them in the other
Playing.
leagues. They don't keep the teams together. It's not the same team. You would have like half his team, he'd have half of your team. I mean, those are all
I'm just the person that feels
just
the
gotta have enough
complaints and I
people
don't
to pull
like
it
to
off,
hear it.
so you don't eat too much of the program.
Well, I haven't had access to the email, so.
so, yeah,
Out of
no,
sight,
I mean,
out of
that's
mind.
just a loophole that we.
Sure.
I don't know.
However, I don't know, I just know that some of my kids might play rec, some of my kids might not, which ended up pushing us into travel for the fall. But I know some of them refuse to play rec. They don't want to, it's dummy down rules in the fall. We don't want to play dummy
I
down
have
rules.
some that wanna go play the fall somewhere else at Oklahoma, but if I do the tournament team, they're gonna stay with us. And pretty much go right back into our spring.
So they want to go play fall at Okahili because we're not competitive enough, but then we're going to take all the competitiveness out of it to make these teams that only play each other?
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm
So
just saying.
it's like they're threatening to just take their kids and leave.
They're going to take their kids and leave to go get more competitiveness?
what they do every year is what happens every single year is we get these kids that are good, we can start competing, and then it's like, oh, I want to go play more competitive ball, so they go play other leagues and trying to figure out a way.
On a private.
Or, yeah, or they go play on like a full-fledged travel
You
team.
know, I mean, they can still play rec if they want to play rec, and then you guys have a travel team that operates as well. Out of Oklahoma could be a Predators travel team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they, I mean, it's the same thing. So you guys still let your kids play rec that won't play rec? Because you don't, you just have a travel.
Yeah, I mean, in fall there's no requirement, right? But defining your tournament and your travel is your two.
That's all I'm saying.
Keys
I'm
there.
saying that's what we're doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fine, because you still get half the kids that want to play rec, and then you're not creating two rec teams. They're just playing each other and taking all the good players from rec. So the good
Yeah, and
players
that's where I would encourage our commissioners to probably have some conversations around. If you have advanced kids, why not let them play up in the fall? Right? Why not let them play up in the fall? Get a better skill set and learn, right? So, I mean, that way you create that environment, so if they do have to
That
play.
goes back to the conversation of taking out of rec for travel, and then we get back to the conversation we were other
The
half.
only other problem is like, if we go play in a tournament and there's a game on it, now you're taking.
You're gonna have to work with the scheduling too, so, and, you know, Gary's been great working with us for scheduling with 10U, because my daughters are playing on 3 teams, so, I mean, it's just a matter of, that's a little bit of juggling, that's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hear you, but when you got 20 kids or more in the same league, same age group, that
Yeah,
travel tournaments. And you'll know travel tournaments at the beginning of the season.
Well, you know all the travel dates for the most part.
Yeah, so I mean, that makes you have your travel set, and then you can go set your rec schedule.
They're all local. I mean,
It's all easy stuff.
it's all
I'm trying to like avoid, I'm taking too many, like, yeah, you guys are both an 8U, an R8U division. You're gonna be a 7U team, you're gonna be an 8U team. You're gonna take, say you guys get 11 kids on each team, that's 22 kids out of our league that's not gonna play fall.
They're saying
I
half
mean-
of them aren't gonna play anyway.
They're not going to play anyways. Nobody wants to play one base on overthrow. I mean, these kids just came out of All-Stars.
That's something we can talk about is on our 8U is
Well,
no,
I mean, you don't want to take away from all the 50 other kids that are just coming into 8U, though. I don't know if it's.
Why
gonna
not?
be, but
that's, I mean, you wanna get these kids better, get them used to going after
I
the ball.
100% agree with that.
That's something we can talk about in 8U is no one base.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to take,
It'd be baseball. It'd be baseball in fall.
that's something we want to bring up. I'm fine with that.
This way, we're not playing one.
That, yeah, they wouldn't be together regardless. They're never on the same days or whatever.
Yeah.
So they've.
Yeah.
I
Any
mean,
other?
Yeah.
Any other
No, I
open
just-
mic items?
like that,
I think we probably need to vet that
I have to
conversation out
put these in minutes.
and figure out how do we
And when we go into 2 hours.
keep it level? How do you keep the kids who want to play at a higher level? In theory, they could play the next level of baseball in our rec league if they want to do that, right? That might be a way to entice them to do it.
I brought that up, but since
And it's not going to be for all of
But
them.
for our 8U, I'd like if that's the case, we can talk about getting rid of the one base on an overthrow in 8U for fall and spring. I mean, this way it's,
Yeah.
that might be a way to do it. I just, we'll see.
Yeah, I think we probably need
It's
to
a big
vet that out.
difference having 36-year-olds come up, and these kids are having to like, let me throw it at you like that. So in case you.
Absolutely.
Well, they learn.
They do.
You learn.
Yeah.
So,
You evolve.
any, I'll make a motion to close the meeting. Anyone want a second?
what's up?
I said I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Thanks.